I'm good. I saw Iva. I knew she would be watching, and I was waiting for Brad, but I didn't see him. There's Iva. Hi, Iva. Sweet little lady. Mm.
Okay, I have a question. What does your shirt say?
You know what it says?
Mm-hmm.
Justice for
Oh, okay,
Amy.
okay, okay. I wasn't close enough to the screen.
Yes, I just got it in yesterday. So this is my new uniform. You'll be seeing me in this in a lot.
I love it though. I love it. Your lipstick matches it too.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
Look at you rocking that red. Yes, red is, and my band is called Red Letter Mercy. Like red is my color. So yeah, I've always got the red lipstick ready to go. Let's see.
I love that.
Did we, should I jump off? And Brad is not normally ever late, but I should have probably texted him and reminded him. Let's see.
Cody, do you see MMA in here? I see him, but he's not a mod. You might want to click on him.
Let me just text him real quick.
Click on him how?
You click on his name. He commented, "Hi, Mrs. Bradley." Click on his name, and then you should be able to make him a mod.
Oh, okay, here we go.
I know, Woosta. I'm excited. I really hope that
I have to go through the mod settings again. I don't remember how to do
I
it.
really hope that the family and everybody here watching that this is a very positive live tonight.
All right. I just texted him real quick. He's never late, so he might have just we've had a lot going on today. A whole lot going on today. So I just texted him to see. But at any rate, so how are you ladies doing? We'll just go ahead and chat it up. There's been a lot going on today. So sorry.
Yes, I know. Can you tell us?
There he is.
There we go.
Do you know how to change the layout to B4 or no?
I thought I had it on 4.
There he is.
Hi, Brad.
Hello.
How
How
are
y'all
you
doing?
tonight?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How y'all doing?
We're good. We're here. We're ready.
Excellent.
Yes, ma'am. I was trying to get in. I was sitting here watching you guys and hit request and nothing happened. And then I tried to comment and I guess you guys didn't see it. So sorry I was a little late.
No, you're fine.
You're never
Yeah, you're
late for
fine.
anything.
That's our fault.
That's all good. So what's going on?
Oh, thank you guys so much for coming tonight. We're so excited and happy to have you guys
I'm
here.
glad to be here. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
for us.
And
Oh, thank you. So,
I really hope that tonight is a little bit of a shift kind of for you all in lives. Like I would love for this just to be a completely positive, wonderful live where we get to talk about stuff that you don't normally get to talk about.
Yeah. Good. I want to say hi to everybody that's saying hi to me.
Yeah.
Not typing, but thank you.
yep.
Hi, Jenny Lynn. I saw you two over there. So yeah, it's nice. And definitely, we do want to thank y'all for the, the opportunity in hosting this. We've said it many times, but it bears. Can you hear me? Okay, first of all. Okay.
Perfect.
But it definitely bears repeating that documentary came out on July 16th. The fact that we're still able to be talking about it here at the end of September is because of platforms like this. So we really, really appreciate you all, staying in the trenches with us, and it really is helping to continue to spread that word. So thank you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think Iva
Yeah.
I think Iva broke my heart, really. Like Iva watching the documentary and like researching and looking for old interviews and stuff with her.
Yeah.
Like as a mom, it is so difficult to even fathom that longing, And so I think that's what pulled me to this case at first was like, this is a mom who is missing her child. And it's like the whole world is pretty much failing her.
I always feel bad a little bit, and I just say a little bit, when we have that conversation, because I know that Ron, misses and loves his daughter. I know that Brad misses and loves his sister, but I'm a mama.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get that.
Yeah.
And so when people say that, I get it. And it's really hurt me today. I was talking with Iva earlier, and we were talking about something, and she just said, can you imagine if it happened to Abby? And I can't. And today's National Daughters Day, and I'm just sitting there thinking about Iva in that. So I don't ever want to throw disrespect to Brad or to Ron,
Yeah,
like
same.
or they don't miss her, but I empathize with Iva on a different level because I am a mama, and I get that. But so it's hard.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for me, this started as, it was an interesting documentary and it was this missing persons case. And then all of a sudden, I like to call it the Bradley effect. You just get like, you fall in love with this family. You wish it was your family. You just get this little view, and it becomes more, to me, it's more now of like a humanitarian thing because you guys as a family have been failed by society, by the government, by mega institutions. You've been failed for 3 decades now, and it's really sad to see, especially in this day and age when you'd think you'd be able to just come out and reason with people and say, hey, this is what happened, help us, and you'd imagine you'd get help, and instead
Yeah, I mean, it took
we're
something
here.
like this Netflix series to get enough attention from everybody that we've never had before. So I really appreciate everything you guys have been doing, and obviously as well as everybody that there's, for whatever reason, a lot of negativity online about me and my family, and I don't get it, but it really is heartening, when you run across people like you that put out good information and accurate information, and and are trying so hard to help. So we all appreciate you, not just me.
We appreciate you saying that because, yeah, no, we have strived to get the truth, and that's how we, learned that you guys were telling the truth. Because if you follow the truth, it's pretty easy to come to that conclusion. I think there's overwhelming evidence. Looking at your family, I think we can see right into your hearts. I really don't understand personally where the disdain is coming from, but hopefully we can clear a little bit of that up tonight with some people at
Yeah,
least,
I
right?
don't know. I mean, I think, I don't, I hesitate to even mention the word politics, but I think some of it comes from that. People understand, my position on certain things, and they automatically hate me for it and whatever. But, I think there's some of that. I think there's some awful suspicious characters online all of a sudden going, showing their desperation. In my opinion,
Yeah.
it's pretty curious, but I don't understand. I don't
Yeah.
understand people that do things like that. But I wish they'd go do something else with their time. I mean, if you want to have an opinion that is different from ours, that's great. Move on and go do something. Go do something else. But you guys, again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate y'all keeping the story out there. And Sandy, you're amazing. You guys don't even know the half of what Sandy does for us.
We can imagine, right?
Yeah, so, but I appreciate everybody.
Yeah.
So we only wanted to ask a couple questions about the past because we really wanted to focus on the future and the present. And go ahead, Sandy. I felt like you were going to.
I was only going to follow up real quick just to say that
Mhm.
we are so thankful for TikTok, that we are thankful for TikTok. But what I meant to say is we are so thankful for Netflix and what it did do and putting it on this worldwide stage. But that is also some of the heat that I see that Bradley's getting of thinking like, well, why are they just now trying? This has been a full-time job, 7 days a week for 27 plus years. But this has just been the opportunity where the world has been able to see it, and it's been elevated, and it is causing more conversations. But to think that they haven't been trying all of this time is really just unbelievable.
Yeah,
But anyway, go right ahead.
I guess people, of course, there's times and there's stretches that go by where there's not a whole lot going on. Nobody's listening.
Naturally.
Nobody is interested. Nobody cares. Everybody, it's been too long, and the conversation stops. And I don't want to put on a facade like I haven't had a life going on over here. And my wife's amazing. We've got obviously everybody knows I don't have kids, but we got really a couple of awesome little dogs, and
Yes.
great. We got tons of friends. Play a lot of golf with my dad and my buddies, and life is good. But when this thing came around, it's the first time in 25 years that everybody's paying attention. And you've heard me say this on a number of interviews. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but every opportunity we've ever been given, we take it, because it would dishonor Amy if we didn't. And there's no way we're going to stop and not take advantage of this opportunity to make one last push, because I've said many times, I think this is probably the last chance we get, if we ever had one. So we're gonna just do all we can and push it to the end, and hopefully something good happens.
Yeah. Amanda, did you have anything that you wanted to say?
I agree, actually. But I also wanted to say that a lot of the people that say the things that they say, I know that I like make content and stuff, but some of the people that say the things that they say haven't researched. They have not researched this case, because there are archived files starting back in 1998. Like, I have dug so far back, and there's literal proof of all the things that you all have done, all the letters that you all have sent, all of the articles that have been put in newspapers over the years. Like, there is so much proof that we could show people and be like, look, they've been looking for her for years, just to dispel, because a lot of people like to, stick on that. But
Yep.
yeah, there's proof if they literally look.
There's not a month that's gone by that you can't find a piece of correspondence or an action or something between, the Bradley family in this case since it happened. Not a single month where you can't find something.
Yeah,
And I've even saw that, like, why don't the local news cover it? I'm like, one of the local anchors here in this market literally flew to Curacao himself, trying to find information and help the Bradley family. So to say that local news doesn't cover this is just crazy.
Yeah, we've been on
Big story for a long time around here.
Channel you could possibly be on. I mean, so we've done everything we can do. I'm sure there's things we haven't done that we haven't thought of ever, but that's why we're still at it. And there's been a lot of people online that have come up with some things that I never thought of before, and none of us have. So we're trying to implement those things too. Here we are.
Yep.
I really think that
so
the internet may actually help you all in the long run. I really hope it does. I truly hope it does. But I feel like now you all have much more of a reach than ever.
Yeah. This didn't even exist when this happened. It's a whole different world now. So we're hopeful that the exposure, and people ask all the time, what can they do? Keep talking about it, keep sharing it, keep reposting it, keep asking questions. Hopefully, it'll hit the right person, that knows something, and will finally come forward.
Yep.
That goes along with the meetings even the family has even been able to have here in this past month, from DC to Richmond to everything in between. That wouldn't have been happening if the pressure wasn't still being put on.
Doors are opening now. That's good. That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so just a few questions going back, and then, like I said, the rest of them are pretty much present in future. But these were our most repeated questions from our followers that they wanted to know. So, are you aware, or have you ever heard reports of Amy spending any time in the designated crew area of the ship?
No.
During this?
No, I don't know of any any places that are typically off limits to passengers. I've never heard anybody say that. I mean, I guess people speculate, but I've never known it to be a fact that she was known to be in any of these areas. There was one waiter named David Cato, and there's been some debate over whether or not he is still alive or not. I've heard that he had passed, and then I heard some question about it, so I don't know. But he had actually, Amy worked at Ruth's Chris here in Richmond, which is a really nice steakhouse, and she was into the wines and the kitchen and all that kind of stuff. So he offered to take her and show her both the kitchen and the wine collection. I don't know that they ever did that, or maybe they did. I'm not sure. But no is the short answer to that first question.
Okay. And what would you guys consider to be some of the single most important requests that your family has been denied, whether it was authorities or the liner themselves, that could have possibly changed the course of this if it had been granted to you?
Well, obviously that morning, if the focus had been on actually helping us instead of minimizing liability, if they had made an announcement that Amy was missing, if they had distributed pictures or put her pictures on everybody's TV, if they had kept everybody from disembarking that day on Curacao, because we not only lost the opportunity for thousands of extra eyes and ears to help us, nobody was even aware of it. They didn't even know to look. And I think that the main focus of that company and those security officials was not to help us find her, but to limit liability to that company. So as far as the FBI goes, I mean, sharing information somewhere along the line would have been nice. They dropped the ball, as I've said many times on different interviews, in regard to simply interviewing Crystal's mother, who let them into the room that morning just after 6 o'clock. And had they done that in order to corroborate the time frame the girls claimed that they saw Amy and Yellow go up that elevator, perhaps there would have been enough information to detain him. But I don't. Over the years, that's one of the biggest things that I think we've missed out on, is the sharing of information, so that we could put that together with everything that we had learned in our own investigations, and we just were never able to do that.
A lot of people are stuck on your dad's keycard entry. We've made videos ourselves letting them know you guys don't have the LockLink data, but I think it's a little bit difficult for people to understand how those 4 entries were there and then how you don't have the rest of the data. So I kind of just wanted to clarify all of that. We do not have the LockLink data.
No.
Is that correct? So why do you think Lou picked what he picked to include in his report? Like, why do you think we even have that?
Well,
right
the
there?
reason we have it is we were provided certain pieces of information, limited information, during discovery in the civil case. And that discovery process was halted by the judge and never was even completed. And that was obviously just prior to the dismissal. So we got certain pieces of information. I suppose, he chose me and Amy and Yellow's information. And I think Oscar's information was in there too, since they were roommates. But I mean, I suppose it's just because they were pertinent to the case and they were kind of the lead suspects at the time. And, I don't know. Maybe that's what our lawyers asked for. I don't even know the answer to that question. But no, we don't have a full set of LockLink records. I know people don't necessarily, at least the haters, don't care what I say. But my dad's when my dad came back to the room at somewhere between 2:30 and 3 o'clock that morning, it's irrelevant. I mean, what my dad did that night has absolutely nothing to do with anything. So it didn't capture him coming back to the room at 7 o'clock right after he told Costello that Amy that he couldn't find her. And my suspicion or my opinion is that that LockLink data wasn't included because it would have shed light on the fact that that's when my dad stated that he talked to him right outside the door, and therefore he would then not be able to claim that he only learned about her disappearance at 7:33. I don't know why certain things were left out. I think probably the company's attorneys had a little bit to do with what was provided and what was withheld. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, we certainly don't have all that information.
And I mean, you can see that because, like you just pointed out, you don't have Yellow's punch in from when he took his shower after. You don't have your mom and dad going to bed that night. There's thousands of. There's only four or five punches total. So all the other punches are missing. And I don't know why people are honing in on that one single punch from your dad when, if they were like really detectives, they would notice all the other punches are not there either. So I guess that one I just wanted to clear up once and for all because it doesn't make sense to question
think it-
that when you have.
I think if you want to be negative and you don't want to help, that you look for any small thing to try to zone in on to create a narrative because you don't have anything else to talk about. So the fact that you don't have all of those other time marks are irrelevant. You just want to talk about the one that concerns Ron. So that just kind of shows you their motives and their reasoning behind that.
Yeah, people
You
think
don't have Yellow. You didn't have Ron's the first time. You didn't have Ron's later at 7. There's many that were not on there. It wasn't just Ron. So
and you know, since we're focusing on Dad, and then you know, people don't know him, and people think about a lot of stupid things, but my dad is the greatest guy I've ever known. He loves me and Amy more than anything in the whole world, except for maybe my mom. I mean, they've had a true love story. Our childhood was amazing. My dad is an amazing human being. He's the sweetest guy in the world. You know, it's very hurtful to me for people to even consider that he has something to do with it, or that I don't even know how to put it. But it's very frustrating because they just don't know what a wonderful person he is. You know, so. Yeah, love you, Dad, if you're watching.
And
I mean,
yeah, and we know Amy gifted him a sketch,
Yeah.
right? Like shortly before that, of her and him together, and she wrote your mom that wonderful letter, which you don't get a letter like. I haven't gotten a letter like that, and I'm a good mom, so you don't get a letter like that unless you're a pretty amazing
No,
person.
I mean, we had an awesome. I mean, we still have an awesome family. I mean, my parents and I, our relationship couldn't be any closer. And you know, prior to that cruise, you know, we have pictures of Amy sitting on Dad's lap, laughing and smiling, opening presents during Christmas. That sketch that she had done was of he and her out somewhere one night, and you know, mom and Amy were super close. All this crap about there being any problem in our family about anything was ridiculous. So, but again, you know, people can take what they want and think what they want. All I can do is tell you the truth and let you know what the real deal is. But you know, our Amy was more loved than most people I've known in my life. All that stuff is just unfortunate. You know, but mom and dad are amazing people.
well, I feel like if your family had anything to do with it, Brad, they probably would not have chosen a Netflix documentary and put it on a worldwide stage and draw attention back to them. So,
Yeah, or go meet with the Senate Judiciary Committee and the Lieutenant Governor and the Attorney General's office, and you know.
Or write the president, Bill Clinton, 2 weeks after it happened with a little bit of an attitude like, hey, we're American citizens and we want to know what's going on. You know, Ron was fighting for his family. You could see the fierce father come out in that letter. That letter was so telling. That was one of my nails for me when I read that. I could feel it.
I think the people, the naysayers and the contrarians, and there's an agenda there somewhere, and I'm yet to figure out what it is, but there's something more than just people having opinions going on, and it's increasingly obvious over the past few weeks for whatever reason.
Absolutely. And so, to get off the key cards completely, I have one last question. So Oscar Alexander's key card came out to us, the public, a little bit later. I'm sure you guys had it. Are there any other key cards that you either can't tell us or can't say, or is this it? Is this the only data we're ever going to get?
That's pretty much what we have, and you know that company is not going to provide us with anything. I'm sure there's records are no longer available, is what I would probably imagine. The FBI, again, in
Yeah.
our experience over the years, has never shared with us anything. It's simply, and I understand there's privacy concerns and this and that, but we were never privy to the passenger list. We don't know who else was on that boat. We don't know anything about anything. None of it was shared with us, so I don't know.
All right. Do you guys have any more? Amanda, do you have any more questions before I jump into the next part? Because that was pretty much it for the past.
Yeah, not about that one. I don't. Mm-mm.
Okay. So I wanted to take this time with you guys up on the screen. Oh, I'm not doing this. I don't know how this is happening.
You're
but,
acting like me now.
I'm not touching anything. I'm literally not touching anything. So I just wanted to say while we were on the screen that we had just posted a video from a very disturbing document, the Senate hearing, and I know I shared it with Brad, but this was a Senate hearing. So Governor of Virginia, John Rockefeller, John McCain, and many other government officials, they spoke out about the serious impact of the 1886 Passenger Vessel Service Act, which apparently is the big enemy here. Because on the outside it's disguised as one thing, but on the inside it pretty much protects this industry from having to comply with any of our regulations or, some of the things. So they brought a specific incident to Senate that I really just wanted to share today. We had a family, an American family from Oregon, whose daughter was very badly assaulted by one of the bartenders, the same company that we won't say now. It's the same company that we can't say. It was after her 16th birthday party while her family was cruising. And when the family took them to court, they tried to sabotage them. They tried to, defeat their character. They went for the child's school records. They tried to say that the family wasn't watching her. They also said that it was consensual and that there are no laws on open water that have anything to do with age, and that they're not responsible for their employees, well, as long as it's not something to do with their shifted, business on the shift. So if they're clocked out, they have no responsibility for them. And they did end up having to settle with this family, but it was all very discreet. And of course, in the end, the confidentiality is so tight that this family can never talk about it, can never share their experience, can never go after them again. Does this sound familiar?
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, I remember learning about when that defense team, in Discovery again, they requested all of Amy's school transcripts and all that kind of stuff. So it's probably the same playbook,
Yeah.
And I think you'd be interested to talk to Jamie Barnett. I don't know if you know who this is.
I reached out. Yeah,
She
talked.
probably knows more about all the legislative side of this than anyone I can think of. I might be giving some incorrect information here, but I think until 2010, cruise lines were not even required to report incidences.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I believe that.
And
Yep.
so, you got these ships that are headquartered in the U.S. I don't know if all of them are, but some definitely are. Yet they fly flags from Norway and Liberia and Panama, and they're only subject to those countries' laws.
Yes.
And then obviously the
Yeah.
jurisdictional loopholes that exist in international waters and other sovereign countries make it, and not to mention the vast majority of the employees on these boats are foreign citizens. So it makes it,
Absolutely.
if an American citizen is harmed or disappeared or killed or sexually assaulted or whatever you want to call it, good luck.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely true. I mean, just at the time, I think when you guys were cruising, I think they were based out of Nigeria or somewhere
Norway.
that way. And then also, yeah, then they have offices, in Miami, and then they have their top shareholders are part of like these Bahama groups, and the money is, it's interesting
It's
to say
very
the
carefully
least.
orchestrated.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then the one last thing other, about this case I wanted to say was there's also a Charles C. Harris, chief of security for one of the top three liners. And he's on record saying, no matter what, no matter how bad it is, you do not call the FBI until the room is clean. We have been told you start by giving bribes, upgrades, even liquor to customers until legal arrives. You don't do anything before legal arrives. You don't call for help, anything. And even when you know a crime has been committed, he says, quote, I was supposed to do everything in the world to make us look innocent. And I mean, I would imagine it's going to be the same thing for their top competitor when this is a billion dollar
Yeah, I mean,
industry.
and you gotta remember you have security uh, detail that is hired by this company and they're trained by this company, and their number one job is to protect the company that they're employed by through whatever means you want to imagine. But yeah, it's and that's not the. I don't know if what I've heard about a person saying pretty much the same thing you're saying in either a recent interview or maybe it was something that Stormy posted about either something he found or someone he talked to, a former employee that say exactly the same thing. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. How does the family feel about the Amy Alert petition? Because I know that was an amazing idea that Kendra had. And I know it hasn't been getting too much traction because everything you have is so important and so busy, but is there a future for the Amy Alert? Is your family going to consider taking the reins? Because
Yeah,
I
we've
know.
already taken it to other levels.
Oh,
We love it.
okay,
We think it's an
perfect.
amazing idea. One of those things
Perfect.
that you kick yourself for not having thought of before.
Right.
Kendra is
Yep.
awesome. She's been pushing that thing. Unfortunately, you see all the millions of eyes on this thing, and I think it's maybe a little over 20,000 signatures. It should be a hell of a lot
Yeah.
more than that.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
if something
Well,
like that were to be,
well, look what happened to her account,
yeah,
though. She had thousands of followers, and just because she did that petition for you guys, her account was banned. She had to start
yeah,
from zero. So your idea of what's been happening is you're on
yeah,
point,
yeah.
Brad.
So,
Hmm.
if that were mandated, and another thing that people can obviously do is, push their or request through their state and local and federal elected officials, this type of legislation that these cruise companies are not going to do anything unless their hand is forced. If everybody on that ship had their smartphone and it had alerted them as soon as as soon as she was reported missing, it exponentially increases the chances that this wouldn't have happened. But so yeah, Kendra's awesome. We love the Amy Alert idea. We're taking it to other people, and
So good to
we're
hear.
sure gonna try to make it happen.
I've been taking notes about things that I want to make sure that I say. You might not be able to see that, but it says Kendra because I definitely
Oh,
wanted to mention her. She's been on Team Amy from the get go, and there's a lot of amazing things that have happened over the past 2 months. But I love that Amy Alert. I love it. I love it. I love it. And so I'm glad.
same.
And it made me think, Brad, did you reach out to Kendra about that other petition?
I have not. No, I have
You
not.
got to do that.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't want to. If this other gal on X offered to do that, and then I don't want to just
Oh,
ignore her and take it to someone else and say thanks for the idea, but I'm going to have someone else do it instead of you.
okay. I
So
didn't know
it's a
that
little.
part.
I guess it's
I
a.
just read
I
about
know
it. And so,
Kendra's overwhelmed anyway. She had said she's mommying it out right now,
Yeah.
and I know she was just happy to help you guys. She wasn't trying to be in
No,
charge
no,
of
and
anything.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely we're working on it a little bit.
okay.
she's
That
a
just
good
made me
kid.
think of it when I saw her. I saw her was on here. Okay. I saw a couple of people on here just ask a couple quick questions. Amy would have been 51 years old. Her birthday was May 12th, and she was born in 1974, so she'd be 51 now. And no, Brad has not ever gone on another cruise since. Pretty sure he probably won't ever go on another cruise. And I did want to say people were asking about how to get information about the petition that Kendra did. if there's a link tree on my page and on Brad's page that's in our bio here on TikTok. And if you go to that link tree, it has everything. It has the petition that Kendra created about the Amy alerts. There's another petition on there as well. The GoFundMe is on there. The amybradleyismissing.com website is on there. The email address to send leads and tips is on there. The link to buy this Justice for Amy t-shirt is on there. So just go to that link tree that's in my bio and or Brad's bio. And that has all of the links that you need.
That's awesome.
Yep.
All right, we ready to get to the fun part? Enough about the case. I want to know, what saying, habit, or mannerism do you still have, Brad, today that comes from Amy?
I don't know that there's any particular saying that I remember or that I continue to use. The only thing that I can tell you for an answer to that question is, every now and then, my mom or dad will catch me making a certain face or doing something that, and they tell me that, it kind of takes them aback, where I look exactly like her, where I remind them of her, like in that moment. And I don't really even know what it is that I do. But it's something about the way I hold my mouth in certain conversations, or I don't know what it is, but I think maybe there's just something genetically, or
You guys have the same face. It
Yeah.
could be that.
something is ingrained in there that
Yeah.
but I don't have any. I wish I had some funny saying that I used to say that I use. I can't tell you that I do.
I think she said mannerisms too, though, not just words.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. that
mannerisms, the love for
Yep.
music, the ability to sing, the competitiveness, being athletic. You still see that in him, that you saw in Amy. Being the loving, loyal child of Ivan Ron, like Amy was. So there's definitely those mannerisms that, we still see, and see Amy through him. And it kind of takes your breath away sometimes. But
Thank you, Sandy. Yeah.
Brad, I'm assuming your wife never got the chance to meet
Unfortunately
Amy.
not. No, we've only been together for. I was married previously, and then was divorced. So was my wife, and then we've been together about 15 years and married just 10 this past July.
So what I wanted to ask you is, what would your wife have loved most about Amy, and vice versa? What would Amy have loved most about her?
I think that my wife would love most about Amy the fact that she didn't give a rip. She was super confident. She was very outgoing. She loved animals. That I know they would share. Their love for animals is matched, maybe other than mine, but at least I think so. So, I think Amy would like that my wife is not, in particular, a very girly girl. She was in the Army. She's, I think, equally as much of a badass. I don't even know who I'd put up as a winner between two of them if they got into it, but they're both really tough girls. They both, never met a stranger. Very easy to find conversation with both of them. Very outgoing, very confident in themselves. I think they'd like each other quite a bit.
Amanda, do you want to jump in and ask any questions here too? I've been asking everything.
No, I'm just kind of taking it all in, girl.
Okay.
I'm wondering, I think there's a section for this though, but I'm just wondering if Brad had anything else that he wanted to speak on, regarding, any misconceptions, that we were talking about before, any of that. If he had anything that he personally wanted to address with that.
What do you mean about the family dynamics and this and that?
No, about the common misconceptions that people put out on the internet about the past, the case and everything.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So people, and I think Renner may be one of them that has started, pushing this information out there. we found out that he sent in a request for records to the courts down in Miami and got a lot of documents from the court case. Now, you have to remember that all of the documents that he is citing are from the company's defense attorney. And you know, there's a lot of stuff in there that's not true. There's a lot of stuff in there that's crap. There's a lot of stuff in there that they'd like everybody to believe that isn't the case. People don't know. They think that, or they call us. They say that we committed fraud on the court. And what really happened in that situation is, so first of all, in maritime law, I don't know whether I'm going to say it correctly or not, but any court case that happens has to be in Miami. And so you're in a company town that is very much so influenced by these industries. You have a judge that's down in Miami. You have a whole set of defense attorneys who are based down in there in that area also. So what happened? The case was, as people understand it, especially the people that don't care to, besmirch my family's image. That case was dismissed, as far as they understand, because we committed fraud in the court, and we did not divulge or talk about all of the different eyewitness sightings during depositions. In depositions, you give answers to close-ended questions. So they ask you a question, you give the answer. You are not, I don't know whether you're not permitted, but you're certainly not encouraged to extrapolate and go on and on and on at length. You answer the question, basically. In discovery, which I talked about before, where the judge had submitted an order to pause discovery just prior to his dismissal, we submitted over 80 pounds of documents, which included every single thing that we had ever found out, that we ever learned, that we had ever been told, every single eyewitness, every single lead, every single everything. And because we didn't speak verbally about them all during depositions, the defense used that as a way to say that we perpetrated fraud on the court. So the judge paused discovery. The court, the case never made it to trial, and no matter what we did, it never was. I believe the fix was in well before we ever got down to Miami. So that judge puts a pause on discovery, dismisses the case with prejudice, which is against Florida State Supreme Court precedent, and many other precedents down in Florida for that matter. Our attorneys, several years after they were no longer really our attorneys, filed a motion to disqualify that judge. And this is Judge Simons. He passed some years ago, I believe. But they filed a motion to have him disqualified from the case. That same judge denied the motion on his own disqualification. So then the case was taken to the 3rd District Court of Appeals in Florida. They found that the petition for disqualification, quote unquote, had merit, and told the judge that he had 10 days to respond. The following day, he recused himself from the case, so as not to be responsible for having anything to do with it or being held responsible for answering any questions relative to it. So we were taken advantage of, and we didn't do anything wrong. We were obviously still under a tremendous amount of emotional stress and had no idea what we were doing. We're not litigious people. We've never done this before. We were taking advice from our attorneys. So again, I don't really care about all the people that want to say negative things. They don't care about us. They don't care about being helpful. They can just, flap their gums for all I care. But, the people that know us and love us know what happened down there. And I'm sure there are plenty of other families that we could find that would share similar experiences.
There are. I was about to piggyback because, not just in the Senate documents that I was referring to before, had they noted that families were talking to the judge, just like, you had noted that their lawyer was speaking to the judge. This is common, but also we found another set of documents on our government website where our government basically goes straight after Curacao specifically for not recording any of these specific types of crimes. And even when they do something about it, they change it in court so that way a person who's really being charged with one of these heinous crimes ends up going to prison for a carjacking. So that way their statistics, and our government is like, this is a problem. You are altering your national statistics. There are documents. So, people can say, oh, Brad's making excuses all he wants, but, these documents that we've cited today are to our Senate on our government website. These are big. This is way bigger than Brad Bradley in this case. This is like, our government versus these industries. So people can say
if
what
you want
they
to
want.
take what corrupt government officials and defense attorneys for mega corporations say and call it fact, I don't know what to tell you. There's no helping you apparently.
Yep. Same. All right. Ready to go back to Amy? Okay. I want to ask you, Brad, what would Amy say if I asked her what was the most annoying thing about you growing up?
Oh, nothing.
Oh, come on, Brad.
No,
Something.
the only thing that I can think of at all is when I was little, she did not like for me to come into her room when I wasn't invited, and I'd go in there and she'd scream for mom and dad to get me out of there, and that was the only thing I think that I did that was annoying to her. But we're talking about I'm like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old.
Child.
But
okay.
We didn't get on each other's nerves. We never, ever, ever had a cross word with each other. We never had an argument. We never were mad at each other. There was nothing annoying. She never annoyed me. I never annoyed her from the time I was probably 13 or 14 years old on.
That's amazing.
That's actually
crazy.
amazing.
That is.
Yeah.
My brother drove
really
me nuts.
Okay, I'm just
I'm
going
gonna
to
tell you.
I'm just going to share that you know who Lisa is, Brad, who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
She's my best friend, and she lived behind Amy and Brad. And I don't know if Grind is in here or not, but I sent the photo to him. Maybe he'll show it on Saturday. But it's a picture of Lisa's birthday party. And I think Lisa's turning like, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years
The
old.
one at the bowling alley.
No,
Uh,
you'll see the picture. And it's all girls and then Brad. And that's what Lisa said. He was Amy's annoying little brother that always had to be with her. Like he had to go every single where.
Wait a minute. Did you say Lisa said he was an annoying little brother? Maybe we need to get Lisa up here to see how
No.
annoying
Well,
Brad
I
was
don't
when he
say-
was little.
Lisa was like 6 or 7, so Brad is like 4 or 5. So that you got
It has
like
to be
so
fair that-
cute.
that I'm sure there were times that I may have been annoying, and I just wasn't aware that I was being annoying.
Right. At that age, we're all annoying, trust me. But it is so
course.
cute. You have to see this picture of him in the middle of all of these little girls at this party, and he's the only guy. It's
I
precious.
can't wait. Okay. Brad, which parent was easier for Amy to work her magic and get her way with on something that was typically, a no or a strict rule or something like
Well,
that?
we were raised, again, I've talked about what amazing parents we have. And there was I can't really even think of a time when they told us no about anything. Their philosophy was say yes unless you just can't, or there's a really good reason to. So, my parents were always a united front. There was no like good cop, bad cop. They parented us as a team, and there wasn't any going around one of them to get to the other one, to get what you wanted. So I don't know that I can answer that one other than to say that they were.
Nope.
They were kind of fair and
That's a great
balanced,
answer. Yep, that's a great answer. What do you think Amy would be the most shocked to find out about your life now?
Probably what I do for a living. I don't. I think that she wouldn't be surprised that I've been successful and that I do well and everything. But to know that I'm, for instance, today I did 4 hip replacements and 2 knee replacements, and I think she would think that was pretty crazy. You know, so
And yeah, I can tell you from doing my research, your patients love you. You get the best reviews. I have read through a ton of them. They say you are just the sweetest and nicest.
Well,
They
thank
love
you.
you. All right. Who picked out the Zoom Zoom Miata for Amy, and how was it given to her?
So I think the story is that my mom and dad were taking her around to different places shopping for cars and finding what she wanted. They went to a place called Import Auto House on a road that has like tons of car dealerships on it, and Amy saw that Miata and kind of made over it and said, "Really, I like it." And then you got to understand, this place has like Porsches and BMWs and all kinds of crazy things, and she zoned in on this Miata, and so they didn't get it for her then, but I'd say she picked it out. And then they secretly went back and got it for her and actually gave it to her. We all went up to the high school that we attended on Amy's last day of school as a senior in 1992. And she walked out with her friends, and the car sitting there with a bow on it, in the circle where the buses pull through and all that kind of thing. So,
How amazing.
I have to interrupt just real quick because I've seen it like 1,700 times already. Brad is not a doctor, so don't start that rumor.
Right, I'm a physician assistant, and I assist in the surgeries. I've done thousands and thousands, but I do work under my supervising physician, and I'm not a doctor myself.
But the next thing that it will be that you're on here lying, claiming to be a doctor. So I was like, let me just clarify that right now.
Thank you for saving me from that.
Yeah.
All right. Brad, we know that you and Amy were a lot of fun, especially as you got older, and we want to see how fun Brad and Sandy are today. So we want to give you guys a rapid pop question. We want answers real fast from both of you, if you don't mind, okay? All right. Favorite recent song?
Lose Control, Teddy Swims. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Sandy, you got to go
I'm
right
sorry.
after
I thought
him.
it was like first one to
Yes,
answer.
both of you. No,
Mine
both
would
of you.
probably be
Nope.
a Christian song, so you probably wouldn't know. But gosh, that's terrible. I should definitely be like rapid fire on this. And I'm
Your
not going to even
songs.
think of anything right now.
You have your
I
own
know.
songs, and you can't think of anything.
Keep going because I don't want to hold up this live. I'll think of one.
Okay,
What is one?
okay. When was your last shot of tequila?
When I was 13 years old.
Yeah, it was. I don't do tequila. I'm a bourbon guy. So I might have had one years and years ago. I don't even remember. But no, I'm not a tequila guy.
Favorite beer?
Falcon Smash.
Yep, and I don't drink beer. Ugh.
I've never heard of a Falcon Smash. Have you, Amanda?
Mm-mm,
So
that's different.
I think it might be. It's a local brewery called Triple Crossing here. And I don't like IPAs at all. I can't do the extra hoppy stuff. Again, I'm kind of a bourbon and Coke kind of guy, so I don't do beer very much. But when I do, that Falcon Smash is actually an IPA that I like a lot. So if I'm somewhere and
Shout
they
out
have
to
it,
Falcon
maybe I'll
Smash.
get some and send it to you guys.
Yes, that would be awesome.
So
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not giving you a song. I have favorite artists, but I did just see someone say Toby Mac, and I will just say yes. The guitar player for Toby Mac flew in on Saturday night and played at our event, so I saw that in there. So I love Toby Mac too, but I love them all.
That's amazing.
What about your favorite beer, Sandy? You didn't answer
I
that.
don't drink. Back in the day, we did I just really do not drink beer. You are not going to come to my house and get offered a beer. I can promise you it's not. Yeah. I definitely would prefer, a drink more than I would a beer. I'm only going to drink a beer if I have to.
I
Yeah.
like that. All right. Favorite rap artist? You have to have
Outkast.
one.
Rakim.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
Okay.
one.
Yeah. I saw him
Good
in
one.
concert.
That
I
is a
actually
good
went and saw
one.
him in concert just a few years ago. He's still got it.
Yeah, that guy's an amazing lyricist. I remember "Follow the Leader" was one of my favorite songs back in the day.
It's the R.
Yeah.
I can rap for Beastie
Oh, goodness.
Boys if
All
you
right.
need me to.
That will be, listen, that's the app. That's the, what is it called? The encore. When the show's over, that's what we need right here.
That's the after party.
All right. Yep, after party. Favorite Netflix binge that you don't star in?
Dallas
please?
Cowboys.
All right.
The new one with I think it's called The Gambler and the one about Jerry Jones and the whole thing. That's the one I keep watching over and over right now.
I think my favorite series is the Untold series. It's a documentary.
That's good too.
They have a lot of good stories on there. Yeah, so if I'm going to watch something like that, I can get into those.
That would be it. All right, sports teams.
Dallas Cowboys.
Oh,
I could figure that.
I'd have to say my favorite sports team is the Michael Jordan Air Bulls. If I had to say lifelong, nowadays, and I don't know when the shift occurred in me, but I don't really care who's playing as long as it's a good game. I mean, I like to watch certain players that are fun to watch, but I can't really say I have a favorite sports team. Now, I actually more like individual sports like tennis and golf and different players again, but I'm going to stick with the Bulls. And also, my dad's favorite team back in the day was the Celtics when Larry Bird was around. And so that era of basketball.
Yes, Ron, I'm a Boston girl right here. Yes.
So I'd have to say that I'd go with Jordan and the Bulls.
I like that right there. I did notice in your documentary when your dad's showing the home footage to the balcony and you guys are on the cruise, you guys already have the darn basketball game playing in your cabin on your TV.
Yeah.
I did notice that. All right, Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi. I used to be a Coke guy, and I just switched at some point.
I'm feeling like terrible, like I'm not answering your questions, but I'm segueing and saying
like, I don't
people
drink
always
soda.
say, "How are your teeth so white, Sandy?" I don't smoke cigarettes, I don't drink red wine, and I've never ever drank soft drinks. And those are the three things that stain your teeth the most. So I don't have a soft drink either. I'm like so boring over here.
But you've never had one though?
Never had one. What?
A soft drink.
Soft drink.
I can probably. I'm 51, so to say I've never had one, I'm sure I have it, but I can honestly say I've never bought them. Like they're not in my house. That's not something that we drink. There's milk and water and Gatorade in there, and tea. I drink a lot of hot tea. That's my drink of choice. But I've never ever gone to the grocery store and like bought a 12-pack of like Coke for the house. Like that's never happened.
That's
Yeah.
If I get down to like 3, I'm running to the store.
Oh no,
Same.
no, definitely not.
I buy 4 12-packs at a time usually.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you're at a
Yeah,
company
same.
outing and your only option is like a Coke or something, of course you're going to drink. But like purchasing that would not be my thing at all.
What I will say is I do drink.
I have to
Oh,
near me
wow. Yeah,
I
no.
do drink.
in case I
I
got
do
thirsty.
drink caffeine-free diet Pepsi though. So
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Even worse.
That's good. It's a little better. All right, last concert you attended.
go ahead, Sandy. Your own.
Yeah, I was going to say Emerson Day I did see Emerson Day the week before that. That was awesome.
Well,
Amazing.
the last concert, like music concert, my wife and I went down to North Carolina to see Iration and Revolution, reggae concert. But the last concert I went to was the Adam Sandler concert a week or so ago, which was just an awesome life experience. That I've loved that guy for 30 years, man, and we had a ton of fun at that thing.
I can't believe he got you guys up on the Jumbotron. That was
Mhm.
amazing.
I mean, he was shining his flashlight around like I need a married couple. So I popped up and he picked us and sang a really funny song, making fun of us or making fun of me mostly. But it was awesome. I really, and I know Sandy reached out trying to, see if anyone was able to get us the video from that, and hopefully one day that might happen. But I tend to doubt it. But it was awesome. Yeah.
We're gonna look for that.
I love Adam
All right,
Sandler.
we're wrapping it up. Yeah,
So-
same.
Can I? What were you? Are you wrapping
Go
it
ahead.
up?
Yep.
Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah, I wanted to get to the last two because we only
Do
have
that.
2 more of the if-offs. Okay, beaches or mountains?
Mountains.
Beaches. I'm Sandy for a reason.
And last one, Friends or Seinfeld?
Friends all day, every
I'll go
day.
with Seinfeld on that one.
Ah,
I mean, I like both of them.
me
I like
too.
both of them, but I think I watched
Same.
Seinfeld for a longer period of time.
Same.
Yeah, I watch
Mhm.
Friends on repeat, so that's definitely my jam. Yeah. So
All right.
before we wrap this up, thank you again. Definitely, but I have seen this one sweet. I'll assume she's sweet, but she has asked over and over and over again in here, and I didn't want to interrupt about any new leads. And what I would say to that is thousands, like literally thousands of leads have come in since that documentary. Some are ridiculous right away, and they just get moved on along. Some of them we don't even like send to the family or to the private investigating team because we look right at it and we're like, oh Lord, no. So yes, literally thousands of leads come in. There have been probably, maybe a handful, Brad, would you say, that have kind of been where we've kind of
Yeah, we're worthy
taken
of looking deeper into for sure. Nothing like groundbreaking, oh my God stuff, but things that are credible enough that we've got to rule out, and we've got to make sure, what we're hearing, we need to verify it or not,
Yeah.
But,
And there was one that came in today earlier. I was on a live with Brian when it was all going down, and there was someone on TikTok that was reaching out, and we've passed that information along. I spoke to the private investigator this afternoon. He got some information. There's been some further conversations this evening. He and I texted back and forth around 6 o'clock, and he said he was talking. He was still talking with them even at that point. So, when leads come in, they are when they're credible. Like I said, there are some that we know immediately, like we're not going to waste our time. We know that's not Amy. But the ones that are credible, we take them very seriously, and we do forward them on, and they are looked into. So, one did come in today that did make us all, take pause and go, hold on, this is one that we need to address. So it's being addressed. And
Exciting.
as you can imagine, we can't say much, right? So, trust me, the world would know immediately if we've done it, if we've accomplished the goal. But we do get excited at times, but, we try to taper that as well and not get ahead of ourselves. So, take the deep breath and just wait to see what happens.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Um,
Amanda, did you want to say anything before we go?
Well, I did pick out a few questions that were asked a lot, like in the chat, especially at the beginning. I wrote some down so that I wouldn't forget. But it's just I'm hoping they're simple.
yes.
One is, what was Brad's funniest memory of Amy?
Oh man, you caught me off guard with that one.
I'm so sorry.
Funniest memory, I guess it would have to be, my dad used to have this bass boat that he would take us all out tubing and flip us all over the lake, and bathing suits are flying and people are, puking and swallowing water. And some of those times were, the funniest times I had. I've heard a lot of really, really funny stories that from Amy's friends in college and things like that, but I wasn't there. I wasn't there to share, the details of them. But, Creekwood, the neighborhood that we grew up in, playing flashlight tag. There's all these little individual memories, but there's nothing like this one crazy story that's super hilarious that I can recall on the spot. But now that you've asked me, I'm going to think about that a lot and see if I can get back to you and share that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to hear it.
So this one, all right. So this one, my mom just reminded me on the text. So
Oh, he's probably reading that text. Hold on.
He's checking
I
the
had
text.
an accidental party one time, and this isn't necessarily funny, but this just goes to show that Amy, took care of things. I worked at this gas station with a buddy of mine, and it was like a Bullets and Dunkin' Donuts and stuff like that. But there were the high school. I didn't go to the same high school as the people that went there. So I told these people I was having a couple friends over. They told their whole high school, and then somehow half my high school found out. So there's literally like hundreds of people that show up at my parents' house when they're out of town. Amy wasn't there. I remember standing in the kitchen looking out through the kitchen window, and there was nothing but a sea of people. You couldn't see any part of my backyard. And Amy came in and shut that place down. You got, kicked everybody out of there. She's like, do you know whose house is this? Do you know who my brother is? And he's like, you're gone, you're gone. So she came in and regulated, and that was, one of the. It wasn't funny to me at the time because she, didn't help my popularity at the party, I guess. But she came in and wrecked shop though. She wasn't scared.
Mama Bear too. That's
yeah.
what she did.
That's hilarious.
Oh my
So
God.
I like that.
So
It is.
I'm just gonna
It
take
is.
a quick story that I just want to
Yes.
tell real quick, just because I love. But before I do, a couple of the people were asking about those upcoming Amy awareness events as well in here, and so there's one. This is terrible because I don't have my calendar in front of me. It's that Saturday. Is it the 7th, I believe? That's going to be in Tampa. And I believe it's November 8th, a Sunday, that's going to be in Norfolk. And there are some others that are being planned. People have been reaching out. The family doesn't have anything to do with that. That is literally people in this country that are like, we want to do something, we want to volunteer, we want to help. And so they're creating these awareness events that are down around ports. So I have some info about it, but I don't know a lot about it. But there's definitely a whole team of people that are working on it. So if you're following that Facebook page, you can get more info about there. I know they're looking for volunteers and for people to come out and support on those days. So, and I know they're trying to actually do one here in Chesterfield. And Brad said his band was going to come out of retirement and play.
No, I didn't.
I'm waiting for a Sandy Brad duet. Can you guys just promise me, if anything, an exclusive on the Sandy Brad duet?
I don't want to make Brad look bad. I mean, come on. But here's a quick.
Stop showing your teeth in front of me then.
All right, so here's a quick story just to end, and I just think this is cool, and it just shows that I don't believe in coincidences. I believe everything happens for a reason. Yes, I have worked in media for 28 years. I'm telling my age. And you learn to meet different people and who's the best at what they do. And there's a particular guy that builds websites that I go to every single time now because, in my opinion, he's the best. And so, yes, we are working on a new Amy Bradley is Missing website, literally right now. And I said, we were doing a call one night with the whole Amy team, and I chimed in and I was like, I think I have the guy that could do this. And so, to make a long story short, when we got to him and explained what we wanted to do and all of that, his response was, yeah, I lived in Creekwood. I knew Amy. I knew Brad, and I'd be happy to help on this website. And we all just were like, so I think the whole world is just like in tune right now and trying to help us. And that was just another sign. So the Creekwood Mafia, once again, is rising to the top and is helping us to build this new website. So shout out to him. And hopefully we'll have that up for you guys. It's probably going to take a good 45 to 60 days because of the amount of information that has to be pulled. But that's coming. That's another thing that we're working on.
The last thing, thank you, Sandy. The last thing that I would say is again, thank you guys for having us on and continuing to do and research and do everything you're doing. I forgot. I went on a small tangent and forgot what I was going to say.
That's okay.
What I was going to say is I've been putting out a lot of information about like people we've been meeting with, all these, state and federal officials and all those kinds of things. I can't yet share. I don't want to step on any toes or do anything that would jeopardize our chances for the help that we're asking for. But obviously, we're going to let you guys know as soon as we're authorized to do that. And then I guess the last thing that I'd like to request from the general public, there was a lot of people on that boat when we were there. We've heard from very few of them. We've received very little in the way of pictures and videos. And I don't know whether it's that the people that were on the boat aren't aware of what's happening with this story, or they think that what they have may be insignificant. But if there's anyone out there that has any little tiny piece, 1 or 2 pictures, any little clips of video of anything, we'd be very interested to see all of that. So please reach out, and we hope that a lot more people, and not only passengers, but there's 700 some crew members on that boat that have been crickets for 27 years. And I think Stormy did a video the other day that NDAs and those types of things that these companies have you sign under threat that if you were to ever say anything, they're going to come after you. If there is something criminal that you know about, those NDAs don't stand. So please don't be scared to come out. We'll protect your privacy and won't make it public. We just are looking for the help that we need. So, passengers or crew, if you were on that ship and saw anything, even if you don't know you saw anything, please share your pictures and videos if you're able to. And I guess that's the last plea that I'll make for tonight.
Yep.
That's beautiful. And I wanted to say one last thing myself too, because Sandy, I'm sorry. First of all, congratulations on your new music company, because that's amazing.
Thank you.
But guys, Sandy is amazing. I've asked her to share her story so many times, and she's too selfless too. She insists that this be all about the Bradley family, which we know it is, and our heart goes out to you. But Sandy, you live in this town. You're so intricate in this family. We know you loved Amy. We know you love them. We know this brings pain, and we know it takes courage and determination to do what you do. And I just want to say we see you. You're a selfless person, and I think it's amazing that you have taken this play on as if you are a Bradley. You have taken their pain and their play, and I applaud
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
I greatly appreciate that, but I can promise you I am this small of the portion of the team that the Bradleys have around them.
Can
Yeah,
imagine.
I'm just the one that's more vocal and not afraid
Yes.
to get on social
Yes.
medias. But trust me, they've got a slew of people that have not only helping them right now, but have been helping them the entire time. So
Yep.
yeah, I appreciate the kind words. Trust
Yeah.
me, but they are well
Yeah,
loved.
we see Amy's uncle there. We know. We see the key players in the background. We see your uncle there. We know. We know who loves Amy. We can see your effort, family. We can. So all the family in the background.
Yeah.
We see you guys.
Well, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I have one last question. If I can just ask you one last question. What was Amy's favorite song?
I would have.
Great ending.
Yeah,
I'd probably have to say "Push It." Salt and Pepper back then.
that's a good one.
Yeah, that was. I remember seeing her sing that song karaoke, and that was a party jam. So I had to
Yep.
pick one then. I mean, she liked, when we flew down on the flight to that cruise, she was listening to Alanis Morissette and Natalie Imbruglia and stuff like that. But she and I both grew up heavy in rap. But I think that either Salt and Pepper, MC Light, or the Lady of Rage, and all that, all those female rappers she was big into.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Push It.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
I'm going to
so
listen
much.
to it after
Thank
we
you
get off
guys
here.
so much. Yes. Yes. Thank you guys so much for being
Absolutely.
here tonight.
Thank y'all. We appreciate
Yes,
you.
thank you all so
All right.
much.
Yes, ma'am. See y'all later.
Good
Yeah.
night, you all. Have a great
All
Good
right.
night,
night.
Good
everyone.
one.
Thanks for tuning in.
We made it, guys.
We made it through it, guys. We did
made
it.
it.
Did you? Okay, I have a question. Did you all learn something different? Bye, George. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, George.
Did you all learn anything different? Thank you all so much. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
They loved it.
I'm glad you guys liked it. I think we really had a fun time. I think ever since I've been looking into this family, I just feel like they're so fun. I just want to hang out with them. I want to be at a party with them. I want to be at a cookout with them. I want to be at Christmas with them. It just seems like such a good,
I just think it will help so
a good
much,
group.
like overall with everyone and everything, to give them the space to literally be themselves, for people to
Mhm.
actually see that Brad is a person. You know, they like to tear him
Mhm.
apart for all these different reasons, and I hope that Kirsten, I don't know what they said, but we screenshot it because I want to know, because I can't go back up and I don't want my phone to mess it up. So Kirsten, please. Um, yeah. Anyway, I loved it. I love the lightheartedness of it. We got some good questions in there. We got some good answers. I don't know. I really liked it. Yes, we humanized
Absolutely.
them for sure. Yes, we made it to where people can actually see the person that people like to tear apart.
That we see.
Yeah.
And it's the people that we see because we really dig and dig and dig to the point where we're on their third cousins, baby mother's Facebook page looking at the, really reading the comments, and we're seeing an amazing family. Just a huge, amazing, amazing family. Really, you
Hmm.
can't find a bad thing on these people. I challenge you because I'm telling you, you can't. You really can't.
That's very true. That's very true. I know that people like to, paint it this way and paint it that way, but I'm telling you, whenever you really, really look into this case, and you can tell a lot of people say that Brad gets very defensive, but I don't think it's defense. Thank you. I don't think it's defense. Um, in a way, I don't. I think they think that he's doing it out of like, just like he's hiding something. Like he gets defensive because he's
No.
hiding something. But that's not it. It's like, why do people continually question him and
Yep.
his family whenever it's not relevant?
It's true. And he's got one job and one job only, and that's all he cares about is finding Amy. He really doesn't care about, anything else. That's the one thing is finding her or finding what happened and finding justice for his family. That's what's on Brad's mind, number one.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm. Uh, well, we can relax now. We don't have to be so nervous anymore. I was not too nervous, but we were a little bit nervous, I would say.
Very true.
You just want to always be very respectful. This is somebody's personal life, and we've made a public spectacle of it, nationwide, internationally. And you just want to remember, like, this is somebody's, how do you feel about your child? Like Iva says, how would you feel if this was you? And something I didn't get to say tonight because we had so many questions that were still on the list that we just didn't have time for, but um Amanda knows this. Just the other day, I couldn't find I went to school to pick up my daughter, and they couldn't find her for 20 minutes. It ended up being a completely not their fault thing, but I was panicking to the point where I was panicking. I was screaming. I was making a scene, and the lady at the desk kept saying to me, "Well, maybe your daughter walked down to the bus stop, or well, maybe your daughter took a ride." And I was like, no, my daughter wouldn't do that. And it's funny because as I was in the moment and saying the words out of my mouth, I thought of Iva. And I thought of how when you just know what your child wouldn't do, it doesn't matter how much of a plausible option and a realistic option that is to the outside world. I know my daughter. I know her. I know she would never walk out of that school lot without me. She knows she would
Hmm.
never in a million years do it. And I was right. She didn't. It ended up being a different situation. But it made me think of Iva in that moment of desperation. Like, please don't tell me what I know, what my daughter would do or not do. I know her.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I really people. I mean, okay, so there are people on TikTok, right? And they didn't grow up knowing about this case. Like the Netflix documentary really, really reinvigorated this whole entire case. Like a whole generation of people that haven't ever looked into it, didn't know about it, now know about it. So there's all this renewed interest in it. And of course, naturally, that's going to come with some speculation. But any
Yep.
responsible content creator, honestly, like, I know that I create content and like I put out theories, but I want people to think. Like, I want people to see these facts and piece them together and think. I'm trying to engage people's minds to think about all the different ways that this could have happened. You know, that she could have been taken, that something could have happened, and just keep the story out there and keep people interested, you know, to where they actually want to help get the word out, you know,
Yeah.
get details. I mean, like, I know after this, I'm making a video asking for, you know, I'm going to give the date and everything about the cruise and literally ask people to come forward. Like, if your crew, whatever, come forward. And like, I think we should flood TikTok with that. I think we should flood TikTok
Yep.
with asking people, you know, that way people see it. You know, if your parents went on a cruise back then, you know, ask them for their footage, you know? Thank you,
Thanks,
Sandy.
Sandy. Sandy just commented. Yeah, we saw it. No, and we appreciate all these comments coming in, guys. Thank you. The support tonight was amazing. We're so happy to look up and see so many people here with us and just see you guys loving it.
Yes, I had to like ignore the comments for a hot minute. Sorry, I was reading. I had to look away at the comments because they would get my mind off of, you know, I can't focus whenever I'm reading the comments. But like,
Same.
I think our comments were like, I think the majority of the comments were all good and
Yep.
positive and supportive of the family and supportive of Sandy and Brad both. And
Yep.
that's what I love about our community, but a lot of people, they really do have a lot of support, you know?
Yeah. You know, I think that the biggest thing is there are so many documents that we haven't even uncovered yet about just how
Mm-hmm.
serious these situations are, how often they happen, and how they happen exactly like this. And so, you know, I've started to have a little bit of more, you know, people want to say defensive. I've certainly had a little bit more of an attitude and been a little bit more defensive lately, debating this case with certain people because my biggest pet peeve is when people say, well, this isn't your typical victim. This isn't typical. We have, you know, a lot of documentation from the government that says otherwise. I would say that this apparently is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's very true. And that's what gets me with a lot of things that get put out there. If they truly researched this case, like I think a lot of creators get to a certain point and then they're like, yeah, this has to be it. And they just run with it without further, you know, without fully looking into
Yeah.
it. Like you have
Yeah.
to look. You can't just, you know, because I started this doing
No.
it very methodically. Whenever I very first started, I put myself in that room and I'm like, how did Amy get out of that room? You know? And I mean, if you're the FBI, if you're the police, whatever, like your very first thing to do is rule out the people that were in the room, right? And so I had to go down that path and see what it looked like. And as you research, like there are points that you don't have enough information, and I could see how some people can gather some of these ridiculous things.
Well, yeah.
Like,
I understand what you're saying because people will manipulate stuff with Brad.
mm-hmm,
When Brad made the 15-minute discrepancy, like you're saying,
mm-hmm,
1 minute they'll play a video where he had said, "Oh, she came in, you know, 15 to 30 minutes after me," and then the next video he's saying, "Oh, she came in 5 minutes after me." But they don't mention that this is 20 years apart and that he was 21 years old and in a 2-second clip on Netflix, and they make it seem like they've stumbled upon, like, you know, this breaking
mm-hmm.
information, and really it's not, and it confuses you for a little bit until you really look into it and say, you know, get to figure out what happened there.
Yeah. See, and that's where a lot of people stop, and then they start putting content and stuff out on that, or even going in others' lives,
Yes.
even if they're just a watcher or whatever. And
Yep.
that's how a lot of stuff gets spread that shouldn't be.
Yep.
Like you have to keep digging.
Yep, they end it right there. You have to keep
I
going.
mean, because there are points in this case, like honestly, that there are points in this case where I've questioned a few things and a few stories, you know. I mean, I had to because I was starting in the room and I had to go through it. But whenever you actually go through it and you read everything that you can find, you watch every documentary, you watch every interview, you research on everything all the way back to 1998 and go through it. And there's hundreds of things. There are court documents tied to all these different incidents, all these different things. There's papers, there's all kinds of stuff. And the more you look at it, there is too much going against the Bradleys. There are too many incidences of people, the cruise line and what all they did. I'm sorry, if they have a missing girl, why in the world did they go clean that room? Why was that their first agenda? Why couldn't the purser's desk call for Amy whenever they first, whenever Ron very first, it happened? Why did they have to let the thing down? Like, the guy was a jerk. Like,
Yeah. And then to have a statement from another security guard in that same position, a head security guard, who says, this is our rule. We're not allowed. If there's a crime, we have to cover it up. We have to clean the room first. It's like, doesn't that give what we're trying to say to you and what the Bradleys have said to you just a little bit more credibility when, here you have a person who was in this position, essentially a whistleblower, telling you what his job was?
And there's actually, it's either an article or in something that I watched. I think it was something I may have read. But whenever this all happened and the captain called like their headquarters, their main hub or whatever, the very first thing, whenever they asked the captain, like, how can we help you or whatever, like, what's going on? He said that he needed legal. That was the very first thing that captain, from what I've read, said was he needed legal. Not anything else, but he needed legal. And then they sent legal out there, and then we all know kind of, what didn't happen at that point, and what did.
And there are deep things behind this, like certain agendas that the industry has collectively put together that have actually had to be the government's had to turn around because they were so aimed on. Like, there's actually a whole system of getting their legal team there immediately, this and that. Like, this is to a science, the way they have this nailed down. And it's not difficult. You just have to read through a lot of documents and stuff like that online to see, America's actually been fighting this for a while. This Cruise Act thing is deep. People should really read about that to get a better understanding of this case, I think.
I agree. All of that should be looked into, like, when you're researching this case. You should look at all of that. You should look at the statistics, because let me tell you, this right here makes me mad, though. A lot of people say that this doesn't happen. This is not as prevalent. It doesn't happen, blah, blah, blah. Yep. It does. It happens all the time, and they cover it up. And they silence the families to where they can't talk about it.
Absolutely. Yep. And they do it in the same manner, in the same fashion that they just did it to the Bradleys. And there's a lot. And you know what? I think the Bradleys are on a good track. I think they have enough good people behind them that they don't need to worry about winning over people who will find any reason to pick at them and excuse. I mean, guys, we are literally excusing the fact that the main suspect, and I'm not going to say his name, but the main suspect of that the Bradleys have in this case, this person has some major red financial flags, okay? Major red financial flags. We're talking playing in a band for, peanuts to 2 years later, all of a sudden running worldwide hotels and, car rentals and different things like that, and having a lot of paperwork that traces back to that area. So, you've got a lot. There's a lot here. We won't get too deep with that because, but if you do the research, you'll see that there's a lot there. And if you can honestly look at this case and not question any of that, but question, Brad being 15 minutes off as a drunk 21-year-old kid in a 3-minute interview, then I don't want to speak with you because you're not being objective, and there's no point in having a conversation with somebody that, can do something like that.
I agree. It's crazy. I'm just hoping that people got to see maybe a more lighthearted, different side of Brad tonight. I know I really enjoyed it. I know that I'm,
too.
In this live, but this has been one of my favorite interviews that he's done, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, he made me laugh a bunch of times.
Yeah, I think people needed to see that, they needed to see him as a human, instead of seeing him as posts or videos or, you know,
Yeah.
political whatever, they needed to see him.
Yep. Don't worry, Jalen. We're gonna have this whole recording posted. We've been recording. Other people have been recording. We've saved it. We're gonna have it posted for you. No worries on that, guys.
Yep, it'll be up. There's a lot of fun stuff talked about tonight. I really enjoyed it.
Same. Same. It was funny watching Brad and Sandy not know everything about each other too as friends.
I know.
They learned a little bit about each other tonight, I think.
And they pick on each other, and it's funny. And you wouldn't
Yeah.
normally, see that side of him in most interviews and stuff that he does. So I'm really glad that he got to shine a different light. And you know what else tells me a lot? It tells me a lot that Iva came in here to support him.
Yes.
Like,
that
how
was
can
so
that
sweet.
happen?
Iva and other members. I noticed a couple of members of the family's names. I wasn't sure if they wanted to get put on the spot or not, but if you guys have been following, you'll notice them. You'll notice them. Oh my God, I can't. Isn't that so cute? She just did that to us. You're so sweet. I've never been a bunny before.
Same, thank you.
That was awesome. In the comments.
Yeah, Iva's been in here, but she's been in the comments. And she said a few things like in the comments.
And she texted Brad on the live to remind
him of a funny story. Oh, there she is.
Oh, there she is. Thank you so much, Iva.
Thank you, Iva.
We just love you so much.
Yes.
World's best mom. I think we all need to get Iva the world's best mom mug this year.
Aww.
She really is. She really is.
Yes, but I mean, like, my point was, I think that shows how their family is. Whenever Brad is doing lives, even on TikTok, his parents are there to support him.
Yep. And when we started, and we of course had to unfortunately, look into the family because you're just starting the case, you don't know anything. And there was a lot of nails for us, for Amanda and I. We mentioned one was Ron's letter to Bill Clinton, that moved us tremendously. But another was Amy's letter to Iva. I mean, both of us as mothers, we know you don't get that's better than any presidential plaque. As a mother, it is like
no,
that's an
I just
honor.
got a message, girl. You're gonna free.
Oh,
chat.
What is it, girl?
Brad just messaged me and said, "Let me know when y'all want to do it again."
Oh, that's awesome! Yay! Anytime. We've got to have some fun. And you know what? He's got to sing a little bit for us, though, a tiny bit.
We're gonna have to tell him
to
sing a little something.
The problem was when we were researching the Bradleys, I think I became a little bit of a fan.
No,
I just
we
like
woke
the
up.
music.
Listen. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. We woke up one morning to tons of messages because we have a group chat from this one right here saying, "You all, I'm a fan now. I think I'm a fan. I'm a full-fledged fan." Like, she turned into a fan instead of just like investigator over here. She became a fan of him. She started sending like his like singing videos and like clips of him singing and stuff that she found. And she's like, he is so good though. Like, he does have a good voice. He does.
Yes. The whole band, first of all, is amazing. All the they're professional. I mean, it's not just they're all really, really good. But it was so funny because and then I asked Brad, I'm like, in between asking you, these questions about the case, do you have an album out? He's like, no. Like, no, I don't. I'm like, okay, sorry, I had to ask. Fangirl.
Yeah, she was fangirling. Yeah, that's why she's like, I need Brad to sing something.
Yes. It's my favorite style, singing. I love all that type of music. You know how I am with like the Fray or anybody that sings the Fray good, or it's just such a Matchbox 20. I don't know. I just love something about that style voice, and I think that he did. I think it was amazing. And the instruments, all the people playing. I mean, from Ron to the uncle, to his friend that did sadly pass. Was an amazing member of his band. It's a beautiful band, and they're all so talented.
I think it's very sweet that him and his dad are in it together. Like,
Oh my God.
I know you like watching that.
Seeing that. You know, bro, because we fell in love with this family so many times. You know, we're researching and we're watching through these hours, and it gets boring a little bit because, you know, and then all of a sudden, like, the camera pans over and there's Ron just strumming his guitar. We didn't even know he was there at first, and he's just playing with Brad, and it was just like Brad's in his work uniform, you know, either before or after a long shift. It was just such a great family moment. I like I said, I wanted to go in the next room and see my family doing that. It was such a homey moment for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
That's
Dan
very
Bradley
true.
effect is what we call it. The Dan Bradley effect happens.
Whenever you really, really, like, okay, if you are a person, like, if you're watching this and you're somebody who's very speculative of the family, open your mind up past that and say, okay, if they're really not involved, what else happened here? Okay? Because I know a lot
Yep.
of you all think that along that line. So I'm just saying, tell yourself that and look past that, and you will see why we say the things that we say and why we feel the way that we feel. Get past that in your
Yeah.
mind and see them for who they are. See them as the people they are, the family they are.
Yep.
I mean, they are so supportive. And they are genuinely, like, he said that like him and her didn't even like fight growing up. My
Yeah.
brother tried to absolutely me like so many times during life. Like, we was like fighting all the time. Like, we used to fight over the front seat of the car. I remember this.
Yes.
If he got to the front seat before me, I'm sitting right behind him the whole time, and I'm sticking my hand through the middle
Kicking
thing,
him.
like
Yes.
doing this,
Kicking him in the back.
Yes,
Pushing your knees in the back.
yes, that's what I used to do.
Same.
Yes, one time I wanted to get to that car
Same.
before him so bad, I kicked him right in his giblets.
Same.
He hit the floor and I ran
Uh,
right to the front seat. That's horrible, ain't it? So whenever he, like, same with my brother. See, that just goes to show you how loving and kind and safe that
Yeah.
whole family is with each other.
It's true. It's true. And nobody that knows them has an unkind. It's not even just doesn't have an unkind word. Everyone that knows them almost falls off a cliff telling you how amazing they are.
Mm-hmm.
They can't stop complimenting them. Nobody ever just says, "Oh yeah, there I know the Bradleys, they're okay." Everybody's like, "Oh my God, Ron, Iva, you know, oh my God, I knew Brad growing up. He was the sweetest. Oh my God, Amy was the best." This is the, you know, the report they get from the public, from their friends, from their community.
Mm-hmm.
This is how they're known and remembered. And then leave it to the internet to go. And do you know how easy it is to misspeak? Do you know tonight Brad said something about talking to Ashley Barnett, his mom, and I said something like, "Oh yeah, I spoke with her." I have not spoke with her. That was a lie. That was a direct lie. I didn't mean to say that. I spoke with her brother through a text message regarding possibly having him talk with us on the channel. But in the moment, I misspoke, and then I kept going with it because I was like, "What did I just say?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I talked to her." That's literally all they've ever been crucified for this entire time is misspeaking and not moving to Curacao, because that's what every other diligent parent would have done if this was their daughter.
But listen, people have to understand that 98 was a different time. That was their lifeline. Being at home where your phone is, number one. Being home where you know that if something did happen, she could potentially, like, if something,
Get
like,
back
if
to,
somehow
yeah.
did, if she did get free, get away, whatever, maybe she was gonna fly back
Yep.
home, like, miss the ship, whatever, that she would have known, where home is. That's like if you have a cat go missing or something, you wait on them to come back home, like, put stuff out for them to smell or whatever. I'm talking about cats though, but y'all get the point. Like,
You don't leave.
it was
You don't
such a
leave
different
home
time.
base. You don't leave the
Yes.
last place that they've known. And also, how would they have worked? How would they have supported? Like, they have, you know what I'm saying? They
Mhm.
have themselves. They have Brad. They have family, community. What were they just supposed to quit their jobs and, go over to
Yeah.
Curacao and roam the streets looking for? And they had no reason to believe that that's where, she was being kept or for anything. They had so many leads going in so many different directions. I think at one point, and I wanted to ask Brad this tonight, but I think at one point in the beginning, Iva didn't even think that she had gotten off the ship. She thought she was being hidden on the ship to come off at another port. which is why they had left Curacao and even got back on the boat. So I wanted to ask him about that, but it passed. But, you know, it's not like they have believed she was in Curacao 100%, you know, and haven't just gone there. It's a lot more complicated than what people understand. So that question, I think, frustrates me because you have so many moms in here and they're like, I would do it. That's what I would do for my daughter. And it's like,
Realistically, you would want to. You would want to, right? Like, I mean, you know, like if that was your kid and you're on a cruise and it's on an island, you would want to stay there. But how are you going to keep paying for it? You have to work, you have jobs, you have other obligations as well. Like in life, even to be
you
able to
don't even
live,
know that
even to
she's
be able
there.
to pay
Yeah.
your bills, to have
Yep.
anything, for them to have money to do it all. Plus, that's where the phone was at the time. Plus, that's home where she would have went back to. Plus, they also already knew that it was dangerous for them to be there because they were told
Yep.
that it was dangerous. I mean, they had to have an escort to go to certain places down there because it's so dangerous for them.
Yep. Exactly.
So it's almost like they may, you know, be able to get more done safely here in, you know, the U.S., like at their home, than in Curacao.
Exactly. And
They
you
are
know,
still working.
as most people know with kidnappings, it's very rare. Yes, we have like the Amanda Barry case or whatever, but it's very rare for somebody to be kept in the same area that they were
Mhm.
kidnapped in that from for so long. You know, parents don't normally go and move to the direct area that their child went missing from, because the radius is much larger than that. The type of looking that they have to do is much larger, you know, than going and just walking the streets of Curacao every day, looking around at faces. Wonder if she's here in the USA. Have no idea, Amy. No idea, Amy. I just hope wherever she is, things are not as bad as, you know, they could be for her, and that she can be reunited with her family, or that they
Same.
can at least get some closure, yeah, as to what happened. They deserve to know, you know. The not knowing will get you.
Yeah.
That's what kills me about this case and about this family is some people lose somebody once and they grieve them once and then they, you know, they get over it. It always hurts, but they have this one pain and they can, with the Bradleys, this is just an open wound that keeps getting poked and reopened and poked and reopened. There's absolutely no closure for them with this. Yes, we should, Captain.
Yes, we should all. Yes. And also, anybody that does make videos or anything like that, if you all want to put out a video, I mean, even like just with a blank background with words, like anything to get the word out about this whole entire case in any way, whether it's, you know, justice for Amy. We could start the whole hashtag movement justice for Amy. Anything like that. But also, if anybody wants to make any videos to help push out, I know I'm gonna make one. I'm sure Cody will probably make one too. Just telling anybody and everybody, you know, ask your parents, ask your grandparents. Has anybody ever been on that cruise? And any pictures, any footage, anything that they would have noticed. Anybody that is willing to come forward, employee or non-employee. NDA. Listen, if you are an employee and you signed an NDA, anything like that, if you witness something illegal happening, it would cancel out that NDA. Okay, there are ways
guys,
to get
let's
around
think
it.
yeah, that's true. And let's think of this, right? As one of the girls who came forward and showed me, she was on the cruise right after Amy and the cruise again a year after Amy.
Mm-hmm.
She has, so if you're an avid cruiser, you will have your own login, especially with this specific company. And what it does is it keeps track of all your cruises, your cruise dates, your ticket numbers, all that stuff. So she was able to show me in her account the ship she was on, what cruise number it was, the time it, you know, left, everything, the route, everything. It's all on there. So, and this was for the year that Amy Brad, like this was the cruise after Amy Bradley went missing and the one the year after. And I have that documentation to show you on my page. So this once again shows you that right now, whoever works for this company could still help the Bradley family.
Mhm.
and they still don't. This isn't just some obscure people from 1998 that we don't know. This company should still be held responsible, which, you know, they seem to try to destroy the lives of anybody that tries to hold them responsible. So I don't know, you know,
That's very true. The more
how
you
even
dig,
to
the more you
suggest.
find stories like that where they literally try to destroy
Yep.
people that speak out against them. And Midnight Mystery Archive is a great content creator, guys. If you all aren't following him, you all should follow him. He puts out really good
It's the best.
videos on this too. But
Yep.
he also added a while ago to remember that also after 27 years, they're not going to try to enforce that NDA, especially if you know that, like, if you witness something illegal, anything like that. But I'm telling you, I really feel at this point you could completely tell the family anything, and I feel like they would keep it private and under wraps
Yeah.
because they just want the truth,
Yeah.
whether they have to get it,
True.
under the radar or, go swinging, like either way,
Yep. Yep. Is Midnight still in here?
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to get him up in a box with us if he wants to come.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you doing?
Hey.
Oh, I'm doing good. I hope I did a sufficient enough job cracking skulls for you guys.
Hey, I think you all did good though, for real. I didn't see, like, every time I look off by, bad comments. It was
bad
good.
comments.
I think
Like,
they
it was
had a
good.
lot of support.
I think they had a lot of support.
Yeah, they
tonight.
did. I think it was a really
Yeah, they
good
did.
group.
I think it was a really good group.
You know, the thing I always go back to
The thing I always
with
go
this
back
case
to with this case
is, there's everybody
is,
that's negative,
there's everybody that's
and they're
negative
nasty.
and they're nasty.
And there's kind of this,
there's
this
kind of
core
this,
group.
there's like
It's
this
like
core
once
group.
one of them comes
It's like
out,
once one of them comes out,
it's like
it's
ants
like
when they find
ants
something
when they
sweet.
find
One of them
something
goes, and then there's
sweet.
a
One of
huge
them
trail.
goes, and then there's a
And it
huge
seems to
trail.
be that way.
That
But
seems to be that way. But
I always look at it like, hey,
I always look at